Awesome people, inspiring stories, the Living the Dream podcast. Welcome back to the Living the Dream podcast. I'm your host, Matt Scaletti, and we have a very special guest coming from Brooklyn, New York today. This is DJ K Styles. She is a German-born, New York-based DJ and producer who seamlessly and uniquely mixes all genres of music, from Planet Hollywood and the Cosmopolitan in Vegas to Irving Plaza and Up and Down in New York City to performances with Questlove for Comedy Central. K Styles consistently rocks the hottest clubs nationwide. She also regularly provides music for party-goers like Drake, Sarah Blakely, and Mark Cuban, and DJs at the legendary Madison Square Garden for the New York Knicks. Just insane. I can't even believe I'm reading this. Okay. She's also worked with MTV, VH1, Saturday Night Live, Showtime, and Bacardi, as well as done modeling for Inked magazine. With her talent, beauty, and style, as well as her own production, exclusive remixes, and dedication to her craft, K Styles is one of the most sought-after DJs in New York City. What's up?
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
I feel like now I have to live up to that intro.
Yeah, you got a lot to live up to. Do you want me? We could just end it right now and say like goodbye, everybody.
It was really nice talking to you.
This is DJ K Styles, aka Kate, and I'm
Yep.
trying to figure out which one I'm going to call her throughout the interview. But I may switch back and forth. I don't know.
Yeah, switch it up. Surprise me. I answer the both.
Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that. Pressure's off me. All right, Kate. Let's hear about, I don't know really much about your background in music in general. Tell us about whatever you want to tell us about your background and how you got to where you are currently.
Okay, it's kind of an odd story.
Oh, good.
I always loved music. Like, grew up listening to punk rock and roll and hip hop, and just, I don't know, maybe I loved it more than the average kid. I don't know. I just really loved it always. And so after college, graduated, I started a temp job, working in an office, and it became permanent. I was working actually at Estee Lauder in advertising for a while, and working behind a desk wasn't amazing for me. So, my mom was a college professor, so she was always like, why don't you learn something? Why don't you read a book? Why don't you take a class? So she's like, why don't I get you a cooking class? Because I don't cook. And I was like, no, thank you. Like, I don't want that very much. But I was like, I heard about this DJ school. Can you get me like a class there? She's like, okay. So I took a class, DJ 101 at Scratch Academy.
Really? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, it was legit. Like, and this is before Serato, so you're learning on turntables and how to set everything up, all the basics. Like, it was really cool, and I fell in love. So I took another class, and then eventually I bought my own set of turntables and like started collecting records. And it was just a hobby for a while because I'm kind of a perfectionist. So like, before I even dared to like venture out in the world and even tell people that I was doing it, it had to be good,
Yeah,
so I did that, and then it kind of spiraled out of control and went from a hobby to like taking like pay, like I was like, people are paying me to do this. This is awesome. So it was like a side job, and then it was a part-time job, and then before I knew it, I was working full-time and kind of DJing full-time. And I did that for a couple years and had like very little sleep and zero social life, but saved up a bunch of money and was able to quit my day job and started DJing full time.
That's such a cool story. So it basically started from one class and it just snowballed into what it is now.
Exactly.
Oh, so how long have you been strictly DJing for in your life?
I think about 13 years now.
Oh, good for you. So
Yeah.
this is how, I mean, you're going to laugh at some of these questions, but maybe I'm just naive. But when you say you started buying records, are we talking like, do you still use records? Like what do you, I don't even know.
I started buying like records.
Oh, there's Biggie.
like actual records.
Wow. For
Because
those,
the digital stuff wasn't really invented yet. I
yeah.
sound so old. Oh my God. Back in my day.
Experienced. You sound experienced, Kate.
Yes, it's wisdom.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't have Serato. Like the laptop wasn't a factor yet. So I was playing actual vinyl, where you
Okay.
buy 2 of everything, and it
Yeah.
was awesome. Yeah.
Here's what I love. I mean, it just seems like such a great story of you could have taken 2 different roads. You could have stayed at your desk job and probably hated your life for 40 years and then
Yeah.
retired and done whatever. But you made a big decision to start DJing. And I guess my question is, what was it like when you cut the desk job and went all in on DJing? Were you scared? Were you excited? What was that like?
All of the above. Like I do remember walking out of that building on the last day that I was there, and I actually felt like I weighed less. Like I felt so free. Like this weight was lifted. I felt amazing.
That's
Like
so cool.
towards the end of my job, like they had restructured things, so I wasn't even doing what I wanted to do anymore. I was just kind of shuffling papers around, and like I was supposed, yeah, it was terrible. Like nothing was my fault, but everything was my problem. Like that kind of
Oh,
job.
yeah, I know what you mean.
So really unhappy. So when I left, it was amazing. But at the same time, it was completely scary because, I made sure I had jobs lined up before I left. I wasn't just like, okay, now what? I had a residency that was like a few nights a week. So I was like, okay, I can live off this for a little while. But so I wasn't actually that scared until about 2 or 3 months later, when randomly, like the manager from the spot that I was working at the most, like called me up and was like, yeah, you don't need to come back.
Oh no. Oh no.
So, yeah. I was like, and we had booked out like a month and a half at least in advance. So I had turned down other gigs, not that I had a ton of gigs at that point, but I was like, not ever? He's like, not ever.
Oh no. So what's the story? What'd you do after that?
Uh, Panicked. Panicked for
I'm
sure.
sure you did. Yeah, I'm sure you're not exaggerating. I'm sure you did.
And I mean, I was still so new at it. I was like, I don't know what to do. I didn't understand. I fully didn't understand the business and the hustle and everything else. So it was really just trial and error, and better figure this shit out. Like, go.
Wait, here, I got a question for you. I'm so excited to see how you answer this. So you're a month and a half in. You have this gig that's, it's paying you. You're there multiple nights a week. He cuts you off, says, I don't need you anymore. Did any part of you say, Kate, maybe I should just go back to that desk job and forget this DJ thing? Or were you all in at that point? And
Oh,
there
I
was
was
no
all
going
in.
back? You were?
I was all in. There was no going back.
Ah,
Never. No.
that's great, but good for you. Like there's no plan B. Like you're all in on plan A.
Definitely was. There was no plan B. I don't think I usually have a plan B. Like I'll make one if I need to, but like plan A.
I think it's a great point. If you're all in on plan A and there is no backup plan, you don't have a choice, right? You have to make this work.
I mean, it's what I really wanted, like, so, and also I'd saved enough money where like, if that happened, I wasn't going to die.
Well, that's
So,
good too.
from like working both jobs full time for like 2 years, I didn't have time to spend any money. So it was all savings. So I had a little cushion,
Yeah.
So it wasn't the end of the world, but it was definitely a good like reality check right at the beginning. Like, oh, don't get comfortable.
Yeah, you're right. That's probably the best time for that to happen was right in the beginning. You talk about a setback. I mean, you got punched in the mouth and you kept going. That's great.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, okay. Noted.
So what drives you on a daily or monthly basis? And I mean, I think this all kind of mashes together on setbacks and pushing forward and everything. Is there something that just drives you to want to be the best DJ out there?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I always want to be the best at what I do. Like I take so much pride in what I do that to do it like half-assed is not an option.
Mm-hmm.
And when you can do things well, it's so much fun and everything flows and like it's just such a great feeling and like you're doing the best for the crowd and everything just comes together in this like beautiful, beautiful way and just works. So yeah, always. Like I'm always trying to be better and smoother and like learn new things and adapt to like new technology, anything that gives you the advantage to be better, the opportunity to be better.
I love that. Everything you do, you want to be really good at it and keep working until you are good at it. That's awesome. What
I
is
don't like doing things I'm not good at.
is that is that kind of the what is it, barometer, like the crowd? Is that how you kind of gauge how well things are going? Is that what you would say?
Yeah, for the most part in a club, like the goal is to kind of like take them on this journey, especially if you're doing the whole night for yourself, like from open to close. So at the beginning, you want to ease them in. People are just getting there. They need a couple drinks to like loosen up. So you're not expecting anything crazy like right away, but you get to play really like cool stuff that you don't get to play at any other point in the night. So, it's like you just go on this ride with them and you take them, like kind of ease in, build it up. And then, around prime time, it's crazy. And you can like, a good DJ will tell you crowd reactions are everything. Like you can tell it's fun to take some chances and kind of go left sometimes and maybe try to expand their horizons a little bit, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't work. And, you go back to, a big hit or something because you can tell like, oh, that was a little too far, but we're still on this ride.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the crowd because you're really there for them.
Yeah. And I think that's awesome that you clearly adjust based on how people are reacting to what you're playing, which probably makes you one of the reasons why you're the best out there. I think that's so cool.
Thanks. Yeah. I mean, it's fun too. It's such an interactive experience. Like you're providing the energy and the vibe, but I'm also getting it back from them. So it's a circle and it just feeds off each other when it's like really going well.
I checked out your YouTube, your channel, and I know there's the one, I think it was just a few weeks ago where you're DJing. I guess it's virtually, but it's like 20 some minutes, and the different types of songs that you had on there, they're all like I'm up dancing and going crazy, but like it was so cool how it was like let's say a hip hop song and then mixed in with an 80s song, but it was all this upbeat fun, like you're smiling the whole time. How do you decide what any given event the 40 to 50 songs or whatever are going to be on there? Like how do you figure that out?
Well, first of all, your reaction to what I was playing is exactly what I'm going for. Like I had fun, I was dancing, like it was like you jumped genres, but it was super fun and it made sense. Like so thank you for saying that because that's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as planning an event, I honestly never know what I'm going to play until I get there.
Really?
I don't make a playlist. Some people like to do that, but you can never really tell what it's going to be until you're there. It's like, I mean, I could think of a few maybe songs I want to start with, but you really have to see the place and the crowd and the people. And I mean, unless there's some like strict private event direction, then it's okay. But for the most part, I really just got to feel it out.
Yeah.
Like my friends always text me, like, what are you going to play first? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I'm still on the train. I don't know.
Do you do any like talking in between songs, or is it mainly all just music, one song after the other?
For me, I just play music. Like, I've always been afraid of talking on the mic, actually. I really dislike it.
We're going to change that. It's go time, Kate.
I actually started doing it more with the live streaming. To interact with the chat room is kind of the only way. Like, you can't type back or anything. And that's been a fun adventure. I like that, but I always felt like talking to crowds at a club, like, put your hands up. Like, shout out to like Stephanie on her birthday. I just feel like I sound so lame. Like, it's just me. Like, it's a full-on skill. Like, mic skills are a whole other skill set.
And I'm excited for you developing that skill set very soon.
Yes, I'm working on it.
So just because you brought it up, I got to ask you now. So how does the live stream work? And this is a perfect time to tell listeners and viewers how they can check out the live stream. But tell us how that works, because I got to be honest, I have not seen one yet.
Oh, okay. So every Thursday, I'm doing a live stream from like 8 to 10-ish, or 8 until it stops being fun. And I do it via Twitch. So it's
Oh,
twitch.tv/iHeartDJKStyles. I don't know if you need an account, but like you don't have to set anything up to like tune in. I think you can just like watch. It doesn't cost anything. And yeah, like I started actually doing it on Instagram, but they're like really strict about their copyrights from
yeah.
the music, which is very frustrating. So I was getting kicked off like over and over and over. And I wound up in Instagram jail once. Like they wouldn't let me post for like a whole day. I was on punishment. So that wasn't fun anymore.
You know what? I thought you were going to say they weren't going to let me post for a whole month, and you said a day.
The whole day.
That's funny. But
Really
hey,
rough.
yeah, a day is a long time now. So
Yeah.
Twitch is more, I have Twitch just because I wanted to see what it was all about, but that's more copyright free, or you can play whatever you want.
For now it is. Like,
Yeah, I guess that's okay.
it's been more for gamers in the past, I guess. Like it's been their platform to do their gaming things.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about that world, but a lot of us DJs have switched over to it. And I guess once you play like a certain amount of hours or get a certain amount of followers, like you can actually make some money doing it. So
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Oh, that's cool.
yeah, I don't think it's a ton, but you get like an affiliate status. It sounds like a pyramid scheme when you explain it to people, but I'm pretty sure it's not. Like if you have a certain number of hours and a certain number of people, then you can apply for this. Like, but yeah, you can make money off it.
So this is a perfect lead in, because I was going to ask you about this anyways. Given the COVID world that we're in, clearly there's not packed clubs with 1,000 people currently, but how have you, and Twitch is a perfect answer. How else have you adapted to the new normal that we're in to keep yourself in front of your fans and your audience?
It's actually been a challenge. Like, because at first we didn't know how long this was gonna last. We're like, oh, a month, whatever.
Yeah.
So I was mostly just lazy. At first I was like, oh, this is kind of a nice break. Like I haven't had a vacation in so long. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know what that feels like. So it was kind of great. But then I was like, okay, I gotta stay present, like out of sight, out of mind in this like digital world. So I was like, a friend of mine started before I did, and he had like this bright idea. He got this thing called an iRig, so you can basically pump your music directly from the mixer into like your phone or computer. So the audio quality is amazing. It's perfect. So I followed his lead. I was like, hey, where'd you get it? Like, send me the link. So I got that too, and just started the live stream thing. And it's been really great. Like I did one for this DJ agency based in New York called 4 a.m. Like I did a set for them last Wednesday, and now I'm starting a new show on BYLR Radio, which is going to be amazing. This whole brand new radio app that I'm really excited about. I actually got to finally log in and listen to it because it's in beta right now. Actually it was. Now it's launched, so go get it. Go get the app, BYLR Radio. And my show is Saturday nights from 8 to 10. Saturday Night Fever with DJ K Styles.
Oh, I love it. So you're live. By the way, that's how we connected. BYLR is Jesse Kessler, who's kind of become a friend of both of us. Unbelievable guy, entrepreneur.
Oh, absolutely.
Successful, just
kind of visionary with this whole radio project, I got to admit. Like,
it sounds like he has been. So you're live on BYLR?
Saturday nights, yep. So I have like a 2-hour mix show. It's super fun. Like, and just like working on the mix show, I've actually had so much fun just making them. Like I'm dancing around and like I'm having the best time. So I think that's a good sign.
I think that is a really good sign. And this, just to see the YouTube video I was watching, to me, watching you from afar, it seemed that sounded weird to say watching you from afar, but
That's not creepy
looking
at all.
at like Instagram and everything. And since we connected and I started looking at your website and learning more about you, it seems to me that you are 100% authentic to you, to DJ K Styles. And I'm inspired by that because it just seems like you're so comfortable in who you are. And my question is, first off, maybe is that true or not true? And if it is, how have you become so self-aware and just so true to you, no matter who the audience is? Because I think it's a really cool thing.
Oh, thank you. First of all, that's like awesome to say. Yeah, I just don't know any other way to be. Like I really don't like fake people, fake things. Like I've always been a good judge of character and I can see that stuff right away. And in certain environments you have to just play a role, but and I'm fine with that for business, everything's a little bit political in every business and every industry, but overall, like I feel like I just do better being myself. Like it's all I know how to do, and I'm like nerdy, I'm really clumsy. Like I haven't knocked anything over yet on my desk, so I'm really proud of that.
I'm gonna jinx that. Now it's gonna have to
Oh,
happen.
I think I did. Damn it.
But everything you just said to me, like that's so cool that hey, that's who you are, and like it or hate it, but that's just me, and I think that's so cool.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Phyllis.
Oh yeah. For those of you watching on YouTube, Phyllis is well, you can explain who Phyllis is. I don't want to.
Phyllis is my cactus friend, who I brought to the beach and blew up, and her counterpart Phil lives with my best friend Mary, and she stayed inflated for like the past month and a half, so I'm letting her live her best life among all my other plants, and she's very happy.
For those of you that are just listening, you should see the background in Kate's place. It's very green, and there is a blow up cactus in the corner that's very entertaining.
And she has heart-shaped sunglasses like I like to wear, so it was meant to be.
Oh, that was the other thing on the YouTube video. I liked the halfway through, boom, putting on the sunglasses. Well played.
Hearts are kind of like the brand for me. Like I heart DJ K Styles and all this stuff. So she's just so fits my aesthetic.
Well, actually, you're making these questions like it's so easy because we're flowing right to the next one. So I was thinking like, and I don't know if you have to do this or not, but let's say a new client is thinking about hiring you. Maybe they're debating between a few other DJs. Is there something that, I mean, and we're learning about you, so I think we're getting the answer, but is there something that differentiates you from, I'm not necessarily trying to get you to compare yourself to other DJs, but what makes you you, and is there something that sticks out that makes you unique?
I think there is, because definitely clients hire me for me. Like a lot of my residencies just want me. It's like I can't get subs. I can't be like, hey, can you fill in this gig? Because it's not like they just need a DJ. It's me. I think part of that is just really good relationships with the bookers and owners and management. Like, and maybe that goes back to just being real. Like
Yeah.
they're people, as much as they're writing your checks or whatever, they're just people. Like,
Yeah.
like just treat everyone with respect and nicely, and like have some fun. I mean,
But I think that's such a great answer. And it's relationships that's everything, right? Relationships in business or in life.
oh, 100%. Like it's that I think is have like 80% of the industry. The key is like building relationships.
I love that. And I'm sure there's some people that struggle with that. So that's cool that it's almost like you enjoy that part of it, is getting to know some of these, I guess they're, what do you call them? Booking agents? Is that what you said?
Yeah, bookers are just managers. Like, yeah, I mean, I'm friends with some of them now. Like, they're just super fun people. And like, we all have so much in common working in nightlife, that just is not the same for like 9 to 5 people, just like our war stories and all that stuff. So.
I'm glad you said war stories, because I have to ask you to tell a story. I mean, according to the bio and per our conversation before we started recording, I mean, you've worked with and been around a lot of household names like Drake. I mean, we mentioned Sarah Blakely, Mark Cuban, who's from Pittsburgh. That's where I'm from. Do you have any? There's got to be a story or two in there. Oh, you're already laughing. I'm going to stop talking.
The Mark Cuban story just makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
So he was at my Friday night gig at La Poisson Rouge that I play with this 90s cover band called the Fresh Kids of Bel Air. So I have a break while they're on stage. So I was like side stage with him, and he's hilarious. Like, I had no idea. I was like, oh my God, Mark Cuban, like, should I say anything? And like the next thing I know, we're like doing shots and like,
really?
Yeah, just having fun and like horsing around. And our other friend was there, and it was just like, we're acting like rambunctious teenagers. And then like, I don't know what led up to this. I don't remember because shots, but eventually we wound up like bumping our bellies. Like instead of like a chest bump, we did like a belly bump. Like side stage, just like jumping around like idiots. And it was hilarious and super fun. And he was just so down to earth and like just a fun person to be around.
That is a great story. Did you know?
Very mature, you know.
That's right. Belly bumping.
Yeah, totally.
Did you know he was going to be there? And then did you know, like, you knew what he looked like and know of him and everything?
I didn't know he was going to be there, but I knew what he looked like. But I think someone probably had to be like, hey, that's Mark Cuban. I was like, oh, it is. Like,
Oh, yeah.
right.
Oh, that's a fun. Have most of the bigger names you've been around, I don't want to say maybe we're not that silly like you and Mark have been, but most of them pretty down to earth to work with?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean, that's definitely probably the most fun and like the silliest interaction. But for the most part, people are just super chill and like down to earth. Like if you just talk to them,
like human
like
beings.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what some people miss. They're like, don't you get starstruck? I'm like, honestly, sometimes I do. Like, I won't lie. But for the most part, it's like, oh, hey, what's up? Like,
We're all just a bunch of human beings, right?
yes.
Is there something, and I don't, maybe it's because of what's going on now and having to pivot and make changes and stuff. Is there some way that you're currently trying to, it sounds like you're always trying to improve, which I think is probably a reason you're so successful. But is there something specific that you're trying to improve upon to get you to the next level?
Well, right now, I mean, as far as the live streaming goes, I'm definitely trying to build up the audience with that. And like, you know, by doing a consistent set every week, it's kind of, you know, just, it's almost like doing a set outside and I'm getting a completely different audience from what I would get in the club. So a lot of the club people aren't on the live stream.
Yeah.
It's funny. So that's been amazing, you know, just like reaching people that I would never reach from all over the country and maybe I think all over the world too. I think I had Guyana in the building, like on the last chat. It was just very cool. And then besides that, just, you know, I posted a new mix the other day on Mixcloud. I am working on a really cool remix that I don't want to tell you too much about because it's not done and I'm a perfectionist.
So
yeah.
What's the best way to get your music and your material?
Almost everything is on my website, djkstyles.com. And all my social follows are at iHeartDJKStyles. So
we got to get you got to get people on there because you have it's like a party on your social media. I mean, it's so much fun.
I think it's fun.
Well, it sounds too like when we're talking about improving and changing and all that stuff, it seems like through your live streams, you're actually interacting with your audience even more because you can type a response back or answer them one-on-one. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's a different kind of interactive crowd. You know, like I can't see people to gauge their reactions to anything. Like, and honestly, if no one's in the chat room, like you could have like 20, 50, 100 listeners, but it's still it feels a little dead because you're still basically alone in your bedroom DJing. So That's what we're all reduced to at this point. Playing field has been leveled. So, but with the chat rooms, you know, when people are pretty live in there and like people are making new friends in the chat rooms, which is really funny. And now there's like new little groups of party people. And it's funny, this one specific group is always in there, this girl named Virginia. And she brings all these people and, you know, they're like, let's go to the dance floor and like put the dancing girl emojis, or like, I love this song with the speakers, or like kind of narrate a party. Or she's like, oh, let me send an Uber for this person. And I was like, I think you guys are amazing. Like, this is great.
It's like they're making the most out of a difficult situation, right?
Absolutely. Like things just change. You know, they're like, oh, I'm going to the bar. Do you want anything? I'm like, okay, what? Okay. Like, this is awesome. Like, who would have ever thought? Like,
You're right. That's the truth. I mean, I would have never thought, but I think to me, I think there's two ways when something changes. You can either A, push back against it and just fight it, or B, do what you're doing, which is embrace it, right? I mean, there's nothing you can do. You might as well embrace it and enjoy yourself. And I think that's a inspiring part of your story.
Oh, thank you. I mean, at first, I was definitely trying to fight it. I think we all were a little bit, like kind of in denial. So I think there was the first good month and a half that I barely even looked at new music. I was like, I don't care. Like, yeah, I think when you're kind of sad about something, you're like, whatever. Like,
yeah, you blow it. Yeah.
So, you know, there was that time period. I didn't just like hit the ground running like, woo, pandemic, I'm going to live stream. Like, it definitely took some time and adjustment. So,
yeah. But see,
like, yeah, balance out my brain a little bit.
Hey, I think you and me and everybody else, I mean, I don't think anybody just hit the ground running on whatever it was, March 30th or whatever the date. Okay, so I'm kind of excited to ask you about this. We talked before we started recording, and I asked you because there was T-shirts behind you, and I'm nebby and nosy, and I always ask about what's in people's backgrounds. So we saw Phyllis is the cactus.
Yep.
But there's also, which I'm a big fan of, Tupac and Guns N' Roses. Tell us, there's a story behind these shirts that you have. Tell us a little, there you go.
There is a story. I've been waiting for you to bring them up. They are strategically placed in my background. I mean, oops, you noticed those?
Yeah, I just noticed. I just randomly asked.
So, in the wake of this pandemic and DJing being virtual and spending a lot of time at home with my cat, you know, I'm just trying to pivot and think of new things to do, because it was weird at first. My friend, like talking to people about shit, like what am I going to do now? I still don't really have a long-term answer, because we don't have a lot of answers to anything.
Fair.
But then, like, you know, like what do you love and what would you love to do? I'm like, well, first of all, I was already doing it. Like, that was the dream.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, what else do I like? You know, like, let's try something. So I always have like cut up my own t-shirts and kind of styled them and turned them into dresses or whatever. And I always get a lot of compliments. And I was just doing it to a shirt I bought the other day, actually, like this Tupac shirt. And, you know, I made this cool back with the braiding, and it's like a slinky little dress, but it's like, you know, it looks all proper in the front. But I sent my friend, you know, some mirror pictures, because we're classy girls. And she's like, you know, you could sell that. And I was like, yeah, that's funny, right? She's like, no, you could sell that. And I was like, I could sell it. Hey, I could sell that. Like, it was this little process of, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
So you know, I've been doing it for years. I love doing it. So I figured, hey, let's try it. You know, what's the worst that could happen? I have a lot of cool t-shirts to wear, and so do my friends.
You're right. That's true.
Everybody wins.
Yeah.
So yeah, I started I want to hesitate to call it a clothing line, because I don't know if I'm that cool, but
you're that cool. It's a clothing
line. I have a clothing line.
Yes, you did.
XOXO by K Styles. Since
You already have a name for it? Of course it's a clothing line. Yes.
I mean, we got, let's see, the custom little tags and everything.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
This is okay, so can I ask you how did you make that possible? Because it seems like it hasn't been that long of a period of time when she said you could sell it, and now you have the online store up. Like, can I ask that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I learned from building my brand as a DJ and just, I mean, it was always offensive to me, just side note, when people are like, so all you do is DJ? And I was like, ugh.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
yes, I DJ, but like, I don't have an agent, I don't have a manager. So you're looking at my entire team. Like, I am PR, I am promo, I am admin, I am the intern that gets me coffee. Like, and I play the gigs. So like everything is coming from here. Like, I'm busy. Like, it's running a business. So from my experience doing that, I kind of had a head start with like what I needed to know or what I needed to learn to do this. And of course, my mind was mostly on like the creative aspect, like, oh, I can make cute tags. Like, I think that was one of the first things. I'm like, they're gonna be gold and sparkly. Like,
You knew it. You already had
but
that.
I mean, that's like, I had a head start too because I already had the XOXO logo from DJing. I had kind of branded I Heart DJ K Styles, and the XOXO K Styles was already a part of everything. So I already had like I'd saved the Instagram a long time ago,
Oh,
just in
did
case
you?
I wanted to switch it up, you know.
Wow.
So a lot of it was kind of already in place, and it just made sense to just go with it. And like, I don't like doing anything half-assed, so I'm like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. So I just kind of pivoted and put all my time into this, and I'm having a great time doing it. And I finally got like 6 or 7 pieces, so I opened the Etsy shop. I think it's only been like a week and a half.
Wow. So how do people check out the Etsy shop?
It's etsy.com/shop/XOXOK Styles.
XOXOK Styles. We gotta
Yeah,
look
or
that
you
up.
can go to its Instagram. The Instagram is XOXOK Styles. And
Oh,
it
okay,
links
good.
from there, and you can see all the shirts. I'm about to do a shoot and like post more, I think, for next week, because I just keep making them. And basically my goal was just to make really cool stuff that I would wear. Like, if I wouldn't wear it, I'm not gonna make it. Like, there's one shirt I've been working on for about a week, and I keep doing things. I'm like, I look at it, I'm like, oh no, like that's tacky as hell, you know. And I'm like, okay, strike one. We knew this was gonna happen. Let's try again. Like, so it's been a really fun process, and it's just kind of like very much my style, like this rock star chic, like kind of vintage feel, and it's been a trip so far.
I
So,
think that's so great. Are you also the entire focus group, or do you ever run it by a friend and say, hey, what do you think of this?
yeah, I have brought in some friends for opinions. My friend Semhar has been the creative director behind the shoots. My best friend Mary has been the lighting designer for my shoots. And also just like, does this look crazy? Like, so yeah, I've consulted a few people, and I hope they're not just like blowing smoke up my ass, but you know, they're good friends, so I don't think so. And I think they agree that my stuff is cool.
I mean, this is what a cool little, I don't want to say side hustle because it could be a main piece of it, but I really love, I have to just pinpoint this, how you think about, okay, what's the worst case scenario? And jokingly, but I'm sure you're kind of serious, like that's not that bad of a worst case scenario, right? Like,
Yeah,
and then you,
exactly. I mean, I'm definitely investing a lot of time and like a fair amount of money, but I also am like aware of the finances, and like investing in it is investing in myself. So
and
that's,
it's,
you know,
and it's so obvious to me. I'm sure you know this, but I can see it on your face and everything. You're just passionate. Like this seems like you're really having fun giving this a shot, especially because it's something you've never really done before.
100%.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Like, I mean, you start small, like, let's see what happens. Like, maybe this is something I could do. Who knows? I mean, with DJing, it was a hobby for a long time. I never dreamed that I would get paid for it. I never dreamed, like, 13 years ago that I would be DJing for the Knicks. Like, who is that girl? Like, who? I literally step back sometimes. I'm like, who am I? Like, what is happening?
Can we just talk about that for a second? Because
Yes.
this woman that I'm speaking with right now DJ'd in front of I don't want to give it away, but I'm a huge basketball fan. In the most iconic arena, not in the United States, in the world, the Madison Square Garden. What the heck did that feel like? Can you even try to put it into words, or is that impossible?
That was me being speechless because I really don't know. It was absolutely amazing. I DJ'd the Knicks Pacers game at the end of February this year, and it was a packed Madison Square Garden. Like, that's the dream.
Yes.
That's the dream. Like, I mean, does it get bigger than that? I don't. And it was just so cool. It was just such a great event and a great, like, just time in my career. It felt amazing. It felt amazing.
I can't. So when you're going out in for Madison Square Garden or any other job that you're going out on, can you immediately, I don't want to say calm, because you don't really want to be calm. You want to be upbeat and energized. But do you get that nervous excitement feel, or as soon as you start going, is it just flow right from the beginning?
I think sometimes I still do get that nervous excitement. Like, I remember the first gig I ever played, is like using turntables. So I go to pick up the needle, my hands like shaking like a leaf. Like, I was literally like, okay, balance it, put it down. Like, it was nervousness, it was excitement. So it's not as bad as that now. Like, I can contain it, but definitely like a little bit of that feel, like a little bit of the shaky hands feeling, when you do something huge.
Yeah. But is that almost like get you more focused when you have that little bit of nervousness going on?
I think so. I think it's fun to still get excited and nervous about some things. Because if you don't get excited about, playing Madison Square Garden, what are you going to get excited about?
That's very true.
Like, if you're not going to be nervous about that, like, are you a human? I don't know. So, I felt the little nerves, but as soon as I started playing, like, you get through that first mix and you're like, okay, you know what you're doing. Like, go ahead and do it.
Oh, I like that. Oh, and just tell everyone, after you played at Madison Square Garden, you celebrated by going out with friends, right?
I celebrated by running to my next gig.
I can't believe that. You're all in.
Ran into the train, ran downtown, set up, and started playing my next gig.
You are all in. And so give us after, COVID's in the rearview mirror, what's a day in the life of DJ K Styles? Is it one of these where you start work at like 8 p.m. and you're working till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, or what's the average Friday or Saturday night?
Usually like DJ gig hours for me, like on a weekend would be maybe like 10 to 3, 10 to 2, 11 to 3, 11 to 4-ish.
Yeah. And
depending on the spot, but always late. Definitely late. Like,
and
I'm a night owl.
have you always been a night owl?
I actually have, which is very beneficial for this job. So.
How given that the things you're doing now are earlier, I think you said 8 to 10, have you been able to adjust are you still staying up until 4 o'clock in the morning because that's how you're wired, or do you go to bed earlier?
At first I was still staying up, because even on nights when I was off, I still tried to stay up, maybe not till 4, but like 3, like just to be on some kind of consistent schedule is, to like get up at 8 a.m. one day and then work till 4 a.m. that night. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So I tried to stay consistent, but I think even now I'm still going to bed around like between like 1 and 3. Like 1 is so early for me, but
that's so funny.
Everything is earlier. Like, I realized the other day I hadn't actually been out at night in forever. Like, even like outdoors, like after midnight. I was like, what is this? What's happening? I felt like such an old lady. I'm like indoors by 10 p.m.
I shouldn't tell you that I'm in bed at 9:30 basically every night of my life. So
you get up like super early, right?
That's true. I'm up super early. That's very true.
Wait, what time do you get up?
5 a.m. every morning. When you're coming in, I'm going out.
So when I was working, 5 a.m. would be the time I'm getting home.
Yeah. when you're getting home, I'm waking up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh, well, I hope that you can just keep pivoting or doing whatever you need to do to keep this thing rolling. I'm excited for the clothing line. And you said there's 7 pieces. Are they all shirts or what's the
They're,
combination?
they're like t-shirt dresses. So like depending on how tall you are and how you want it to fit, they have like, well, actually I'm wearing one of the shirts now. So it has like an open back
Oh, yeah.
with like some embellishments and all that. So some can be worn as just oversized t-shirt, like tank dresses. Some are just shirts, some are crop tops. I have about like 10 more things that I've been working on it are gonna get posted this week. So
You're getting
everything's
after
it's evolving too. Everything's a little different. I found like another style that I'm a huge fan of. So I'm like, oh, we'll do more of this.
it.
Like
Yeah.
it's been super fun. And I mean, here's hoping it can go from like this side hustle or hobby to something bigger. And even when DJing comes back more, like maybe I'll just be an entrepreneur and a multiple business owner.
Yes, I think you will. I think you already are, but you will keep trending. And I mean, from what I'm seeing, and I'm sure listeners and viewers are thinking the same thing, it seems like the DJ world and the fashion world, and we can even talk about the modeling side because I know you've done that. They seem like they mesh very well and can all go underneath that K Styles brand, right?
They really do. I didn't realize how well until now. Like I'm doing it all, but yes, like they really do. Like the cross promotion has not been difficult. You know? And it's a lot of the same kind of demographics that I'm reaching with the music, you know. So
Tell us about your massive debut in a huge magazine. Was it a few years ago? A couple years ago?
yeah, it was 2016, I think. Yeah, 2016. It was July. I have it here. I was in
Oh,
Inked
you
magazine.
Inked magazine, which is, I'll be honest, I know of Inked magazine, and all I know is it's a big publication. It's huge.
Yeah, like especially in the tattoo world, I think it's like the go-to. Like
Yeah.
you know, kind of most mainstream of it all. And I follow them on everything. I always thought they were super cool. So when my friend was like, do you want to do this shoot for it? I was like, yes, please, like, yes. And it was funny. It was actually a really hard shoot because I think it was for the July issue, but I think we did it in April or May. And we were on a rooftop with like a kiddie pool and it was freezing out.
Oh no.
So cold.
Oh no.
So cold. So all of us were like, I don't want to get in the water. You get in the water. I don't want to get in the water. You go. Like, so
Ice bath out there.
yeah. So I think we made it look okay, but this was the magazine.
There you go.
Yeah. And then this was the spread.
You guys are all, so that's you and
Yeah,
Frank.
that's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me.
She does it all, everybody. You do it all. Look at that. That's awesome.
A triple threat.
Yeah, that's very true. Is that, I mean, obviously that's a massive magazine. Are you going to do anything more on the modeling side, or are you going to focus on the DJing and clothing line?
My focus is on the DJing and clothing line because it's, you know, they're kind of my babies. There's something I'm creating, like all on my own. That's under my umbrella. That's just that I've made from scratch, you know. So that to me is like the closest to my heart.
Yeah.
And the modeling side, I still do some here and there. I think I'm actually doing something this weekend for some boots for a fall line, waiting on confirmation. But yeah, I mean, it's all fun for me and it all really does tie together. So
It does. I just think it's so, the last question I'll ask you before we'll get into this final 5, I call it. What do you say to someone who is in a similar situation as you 13 plus years ago, where maybe they have a desk job and they know that's not their passion, what they want to do. They may want to do something totally different. Do you have any advice for that person if they know they're not going to be happy long-term sitting at a desk?
take the leap,
Mm-hmm.
jump, do it. I mean, do it in a smart way, you know, like don't just jump off a cliff, but have a parachute. Like, you know, like, I mean, make sure you're prepared, like do everything you can, like sacrifice that year of your life or a year or two and just hustle and make money, stack money so that like you're okay when like your initial leap, maybe, you know, you stumble a little bit, because it's going to happen. Like 100% it's going to happen. So yeah, just hustle, like do as much as you can to prepare for it, even though you'll never fully be prepared to just walk away from a lifestyle that you've been doing. It's hard, but it's worth it. Like 100% worth it, and you will be happier in the end.
Oh, that's such a good, I need to like clip that little 30-second speech right there. I hope somebody's going to be listening to this and thinking, maybe I need to take that leap and do what she said. I think that's really cool.
I hope so, because it made me so much happier. Even now, when things are really tough and, you know, really uncertain and nobody knows what the hell is going on, I'm still happier.
Mm,
I was not built to sit behind a desk for a billion hours a day.
I think what you just said is huge. I mean, that's so huge that you could probably have a steady job like you had 13 plus years ago, and you'd be making maybe a steadier income, but
Oh, absolutely.
you'd be like 10 times less happy. You'd be unhappy.
Oh, 10 times minimum less happy. Like, yeah, I mean, steady income. I haven't had steady income in a long time.
Yeah.
You know, and honestly, while you're at that job, that day job, work those benefits. Do all your doctors, get those teeth cleaned, do the whitening, do all the extras, because you will never have benefits that good ever again.
Great tips coming from DJ Case House. I love that. All right.
You don't think of.
You're right. I mean, I'm sure there was a lot of little or big things you wouldn't even think of that come up and you're like, oh crap, I had that at my job that I don't have it now. But you wouldn't change it for the world. And that's the best part.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hope somebody listen. I'm telling you, whoever that is listening or watching, go for it. Or maybe they can reach out to you and you can give them some thoughts. So just, I know you hit us with it once, but what's the best way on social media that people can get a hold of you?
Probably Instagram or Twitter. All my social media handles are at iHeartDJKStyles.
iHeartDJ.
Everything. Like if you want my mixes, it's Mixcloud/iHeartDJKStyles. Instagram at iHeartDJKStyles. Twitter, the same. The only difference is my website is djkstyles.com.
That's
but
perfect.
I think if you put in iHeartDJKStyles, it might take you there too. So
it does. That's a good idea. iHeartDJKStyles. There you go. Okay. Are you ready for my favorite part? Final 5 questions. Here we go.
Okay.
All right. We're going to go deep. We're going to go deep here. How do you want to be remembered?
Nicely. Say nice things about me. Yeah, someone who just worked really hard, like was kind to people, was successful and happy and generous, and just brought happiness to people.
I think that's great. Do you ever think about somebody could listen to your music 200 years from now? Like, do you ever think about that?
I have not.
I think it's pretty cool though, that you're,
I never really thought of that, to be honest. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
They like it still.
in your clothing line 200 years from now is going to be like the biggest one on the face of the planet.
Oh yeah, because fashion always comes in cycles. So in the future, you know, it's like how we're cycling back to the 80s and 90s. Like, it's going to be so cool. It's going to be so cool in the future that you'd be extra cool if you were wearing it now.
Yeah, about that.
You can see you got in on the bottom floor. Like, you were right there.
That's exactly right. If you're watching this 112 years from now, you got in on the ground floor. Well done.
Make your future self cooler.
What are you, I'm calling you Kate now. I'm going to switch it back and forth. What is Kate most thankful for?
I think these days my health, to be perfectly honest. Like, that's such a huge thing. And I've even been learning to take better care of myself through this pandemic. I'm getting sleep. I am getting sleep, which I haven't gotten this kind of sleep in about 13 years. So it feels great. Like, it's just a new kind of energized, and, you know, eating really well, working out, like, just to have all this time to focus on myself has made me feel really good.
That's
really
cool.
good. So health, is, I think, what I'm most thankful for.
Oh, that's great. I mean, that's huge. Health is everything, right? I think that's
Yeah.
such a great answer. Okay. This is a perfect question for what you do in the DJ world. What is DJ K Styles' best dance move?
Oh, DJs don't dance.
They don't dance?
It's the head nod, like.
Is it like, do you have to go cool mode as a DJ? Like you can't start like breaking it down in the DJ booth?
I mean, I could. No,
No.
I bop around. I think DJs have like their own signature moves. You know, some people do like the Jesus pose, and some people do like the finger puppets,
You don't do
and
either one of those?
the piano hands, like the aggressive knob turning.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
That's what they do like this?
Like the knobs are like really heavy. Yeah.
I never knew that was a dance move. I'm learning.
Totally.
I'm learning. What's the biggest setback you have overcome?
I think right now what comes to mind is this whole pandemic and COVID. Throughout my whole career, I've been moving forward, and forward motion has always been really important. You know, even if it's baby steps, even if it's millimeters, moving forward and looking forward. You know, you're getting better every day. Like, you know, playing at Madison Square Garden didn't happen overnight. It's a whole process of years and years and years leading up to this. So I'm used to going from 0 to 100 and being so busy. Like I barely had a social life. I'm working 4 or 5 nights a week, you know, doing all the admin and invoicing and paperwork during the days. So being extremely exhausted for an entire day, and then trying to get all my life stuff done in one day. You know, like, oh, laundry, Dwayne Reed, like you still gotta get that stuff done. So I went from having no time and being so super busy, which I loved, to 0. Like instead of going 0 to 100, I went 100 to 0. Like those brakes screeched like someone pulled the e-brake on my life.
Yeah.
So that has been a huge adjustment. Like it's definitely been hard. Like not a happy time at first. You know?
Yeah. Do you feel like you're over the hump as far as the worst? And I don't mean with COVID, but for you, like is the worst behind you and you feel better now than you did 3-4 months ago?
Mentally, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of job security, no. Like
yeah, I'm sure.
Talking to fellow DJs, that we might not be back to real work until fall of next year. So
is that what they're saying?
Yeah, like when capacities are up, like just no one knows. So it's just, I've stopped trying to predict the future, and I've stopped trying to, you know, come up with all these like plan Bs and plan Cs and plan Ds, and just go along with what's happening and try to figure it out and do it the best way I can.
I think really that's such good advice, because if you and I sit here and just worry about what's going to happen 8 months from now, I mean, who knows? Like you said, nobody knows what's going to happen. And it seems like it's almost bringing you fully into the present moment and just making the best of today versus worrying about down the road.
It really is. It really is. It's forcing you to just be present. I mean, there's no sense in really like worrying things that you cannot control at all and letting it eat away at you. Like that's toxic, you know?
Yes, it is. Yeah. You're just giving advice without even like, you're just telling your story and the advice is just coming right out. I mean, it's so sweet.
Life gems with K Styles.
Third business is about to
there we go.
Okay, last one. Who is your hero? And it could be in the industry, not in the industry. It could be dead, alive, whoever. It could be fictional character. Who is your hero?
I don't tend to have like industry heroes. And they always say never meet your heroes.
No, I've heard that too.
I've never had like that one person or icon. Like there's a lot of people I definitely respect, but if I was going to call anyone a hero in my life, it would definitely be my mom. Like,
yeah.
Single mom she had to deal with a me.
Oh boy.
So I was not a fun teenager to deal with. Like,
Are you, Are you close with, is your mom, she's still living?
Oh yeah. Yeah, she lives on the Upper East Side, so she's not that far from me. We're super close. We talk like every day. Now, now we're super close and we're friends. Teenage me and my mom were like mortal enemies. So I've come a long way, let's say, not we. But yeah, she dealt with me. She was a single mom raising a hell child, and she did it. So
That's cool that you can now look back and appreciate what she had to go through with
I
you.
still apologize to her.
I'm sure all of us kids could apologize to our parents.
Yeah, but she's just, show me you can do it alone. Like, be independent, be who you are, like, speak up, just
Yeah,
all these kind of life lessons. And instead of just even telling me, just letting, like, just watching her do things. Like, she's super smart, super motivated, you know.
that's cool. I mean, but it almost seems like everything you're saying is the same ideas you had to put in your own life to become successful at what you're doing.
Yeah,
That's
I,
cool.
yeah,
Full
it's a full
circle.
circle.
Yeah, it certainly did. Well, this has been, I can't thank you enough. I'm so glad that we got a chance to connect. You got to listen and check out this woman's social media because it's fun, it's exciting, and who knows what the future holds. Clothing line, you got you're DJing virtually all over the world. Life is good. You're awesome, and I'm rooting for you from a distance over here.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Yes, it was. Thanks for joining and good luck. We'll chat soon.
Thank you.